Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. Today I'm going to plant up my fruit bushes. I've got raspberries, gooseberries, and blackcurrants to go in. And this is the area I'm doing it in. You might remember that my gooseberry bush is already here. It's hard to see because it's like a tiny stick in a sea of wood chip, but in the middle of those bricks is a gooseberry bush. And this expanded area here, just in from the fence where you can see one of my apple trees, well, two of my apple trees, this is going to be my soft fruit area. So the first step is to hoe off the weeds. And these girls have been helping me, haven't you girls? Because fruit bushes are perennial, I decided to go with Hugelkultur style beds that will slowly feed the fruit bush over a long time. I realise that some of you might not know what hugelkultur is, so here's my quick and easy guide. So here we are in my virtual garden, and here's the most important part. We're going to lay down old wood, so seasoned wood, rotten logs. You can start with one big main log or lots of little ones, it doesn't matter. Then you're just going to layer up organic materials on top of that. So you can use compost, which is easier to plant into, you can use leaves, you can use wood chip, whatever you have to hand really. You can even use hay or straw if you've got hay or straw in your garden. Perhaps you've got some animals and they need bedding, so they've got hay or straw that's been used for that. And then you just plant into those materials in the gaps between the logs and the wood. And it works best with perennial plants, but some people do plant annuals in their hugelkultur beds. This is wood from a tree that was in the corner of the garden that was dead standing wood and had been brought down by a storm, so I'm using that. For the base of the bed, I've got a paper feed sack. This is just going to help add an extra barrier against weeds, so hopefully they'll be stopped from coming up a little more. So I'm going to pile up these logs, and then the other additives I have in this bucket. This is good quality garden compost from our own compost heap. In this sack I've got the stuff from my chicken's house, like hay and wood chips from the chicken's house mixed with chicken manure. And then in the wheelbarrow over here I've got the contents of a compost heap that didn't quite rot down fully. It's very carbon heavy and it was too dry, so it didn't rot down properly. So I'm going to layer up all of those onto here to make my bed for my gooseberry, and it will be the same process on all of my other fruit beds. Okay, it's a bit hard to see because of the strong sunlight and the fact that everything is brown at the moment. This is my first hugelkultur bed, so you can see one gooseberry bush there at the end, the one that I planted a few months or so ago, and then that big beautiful spiky stick up right there is my second one, my one from Walcott's Organic, the Hinonmaki Red. And yeah, in between we've got all our logs and our layers of compost and chicken manure with straw, so that's going to create this really beautiful fungal soil as it breaks down. And the gaps in between, I will be planting them up eventually when spring actually comes. I'll be planting them up with companion flowers, things like marigolds, nigella, maybe a crawling nasturtium, calendula, all these kind of things to attract pollinators. So the plan is to do more of these. This is just number one for my gooseberries. I'll be doing another one for summer raspberries, one for autumn raspberries, and one for blackcurrants. And hopefully that will make a beautiful soft fruit garden. As long as I can keep these guys off it.